So hi guys, good morning. I hope everyone is doing great. It's morning time and it's around that time that I'm going to be attaching my tomato plants to my trellises. I don't usually do them this early, but a couple of squirrels have been well, they had figured out a way to get to my bird feeders, and so as soon as you open the door to come outside, they would dash, and they've been snapping my tomato plants, and we've been getting some thunderstorms with a lot of breeze and stuff. So I decided to start giving them some support from very early. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. I use stockings, pantyhose, and these are the knee highs, right? I already started doing it with some white ones, and this is all I do. I cut the very bottom off, right, like so, and then I cut pieces. I really hope you're able to hear me. Cut pieces like so, and I get a couple of pieces well, and yeah, and so each piece stretches this long. All right, so I stretch them, and this is what I use to attach. Now throughout the whole growing season, I'll need to keep attaching them to the trellis as the plant grows higher. So this is the start of it for me, but like I said, I don't usually start so early, but I had to for the sake of what's happening with me. I'm also going to be, I'm not sure if I'm going to be planting these today, but if we have enough time, I'm going to be planting some patty pan squashes and some more cabbages, because I want to be able to have cabbage throughout the year. So I'm going to be showing you the plan for my patty pan squashes and so on. So hang tight, I'm going to flip this around and then we'll start. Hopefully this will be inspiring and educational for beginners. All right, so let's flip this around. Oh, and also you'll need a little clipper. You can also use this shear, but you want to have a clipper designated to prune your tomatoes. I don't heavily prune. I pretty much just try to get rid of the foliage that's touching the ground, because tomatoes don't like for their leaves to be laying in the ground. They get pretty diseased quite quickly. So you want to have one designated that's nice and clean. Clean it with alcohol after every use. And yeah, so if I do any clipping, oh yeah, and I did some clipping before I came on here. They're pretty droopy now because it's hot out here, but I have them in water, and this is some suckers that I got off. Another day I'll show you how I do it, because I cut the suckers off throughout the growing season. I already have about 15 tomatoes out there, guys. But there's just something about me and tomatoes. I like to watch them grow. And so I take all the suckers off that I get throughout the whole season. I throw none away, right? And I root them and I plant them. I just figure if I have a lot of tomatoes, then I'll just give some away. So they're pretty droopy now because it's hot out here. But as soon as these root and I'm going to plant them, then I'll show you what I do. All right, so hang tight. I'm going to flip this around now. Okay, so this tomato bed right here, right, and this one back here, these are my two prominent tomato beds. I have another one at the side of the house that I'm going to show you if we get to that one today. And as you can see, this is my fencing that I have put up. It's similar to cattle fencing, but it's a little bit thinner, and this one is sold in rolls, and it's less pricey. I do love the cattle fencing because it's stiff, and you have to do less unrolling with it, right? Because this, you have to unroll it and kind of stretch it out, and it takes a lot of effort. But with the cattle fencing, they're already in sheets, nice stiff sheets, but if you have a bigger property, you can probably use that, and if you have much more tomatoes. But this works fine. And so I'm going to show you now how. Well, I went ahead and I did this one already, Tomatoes, especially when you're treating them really well and feeding them nice and so on, they tend to put on a lot of foliage. And so I've been trying to keep the leaves up off the ground. See, this is gonna need some clipping off soon. I try to keep the leaves off the ground. This one is gonna need clipping off too. And so that's what I've been doing. But like I said, what happened with the squirrel and, you know, the thunderstorms and the wind and whatnot, I am gonna be attaching them to the trellis. So let's see if I can position this thing. All right, so hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing. So here's the first one, right? And it does have a couple of leaves that I want to snip off, but it doesn't have to be done today, like this one and this one. I'll probably do it at the end, but let me just show you what I do. Come about right here and real gently use my stocking. Hope you're able to see. All right, use my stocking and just a regular tie. No, the stocking works for me because it's stretchy and it's cheap and it gives, because it stretches, it allows room for the tomato when they're growing. Now this is the top of the stocking that's a little bit tighter to tie. All right, so there we go. So as you can see, it has that room for stretching, you know, for growth. And this one is trellis, has its support, and I'll keep going underneath here, cutting off branches, you know, to keep everything up off the ground. I have my marigold in here. Let's pull some dollar weeds while we're here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have some holy basil. Where are you? Where's my? I have some holy basil here that I'm gonna keep here, and I also have some more marigold here. I have marigold all over. And so what I do is when you see the spent ones, I take them off and I plant them in another garden. Just open them up like so. Those are the seeds, and I'll probably just plant them right here. And when they start to grow, I just transfer them to another part of the garden. Just do this, scatter them here, cover them lightly with soil. And this is a part of daily maintenance. I'm in the garden, and so when I'm doing a watering, I'll just make sure I put a little extra water here, picking weeds while I'm here. And this poor plant, tomato plant, it went over with the wind that I was having. I truly hope you can see me. And it's been sitting on the ground here for a while, which is not very good for tomato plants. They don't like to stay dirty because it encourages diseases. But anyway, so I'm going to trellis this one as well. I mean, I'm going to, come on. I'm going to attach this one to the trellis as well. And you want to be real gentle because these things snap really easily. And you won't be able to forgive yourself. But the shaking is actually good if you have blooms on here, because it helps with the pollination and all that. And you see how it started to get all curled up and everything. So now she's ready to go up. She's nice and comfortable, and she'll keep going up. And that's it for that, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and then I'll come back. Now, I want to show you something that you might encounter if you're using stockings, and it's an easy way out. Now, the tomato, you don't want to brace her too much into the the fencing, because then it will kind of combust the leaves, you know. So you just want to kind of leave her just about right out here, so she has a little bit of room to go up without any combustion of the leaves or so on. But you can do this with your, you know, you stretch it first, you know, like this, and then you get a grip on the fencing, and you come towards the tomato. Now you don't have enough room to tie, as you can see, right? So what you do, you take another piece that has been stretched like this, and you go into this loop, both loops here, and then you tie. And she is attached really well. And don't make the tying the knot too tight, just in case you need to do some sort of adjustment. Usually I do like a bow sort of thing, like this. Well, I did that already, so I'm just gonna do this. And that will leave you some room to kind of loosen her if you need to. All right, but this is good. This plant, the tomatoes that are going to be on this are going to be relatively large. I can't remember the name of them right now, but there's some orange, kind of, what do you call it? Burnt orange color. And this is my first time growing them. And as you can see, the foliage are really, they're a lot, right? So I'm going to be clipping these as we go along. I'm going to show you another tomato that I have trellised and attached to my trellis. Okay, here she is. And you can see that these are bigger tomatoes. So I have attached a stake here and one here, because as you can see, these tomatoes are going to be huge. These are purple Cherokees, and so they need a special kind of support, right? Because they're going to branch off like they are doing out here, right? And so I had to give her a stake. As you can see, one of the tomatoes are here. These are going to be huge, right? So they need special attention, right? But these are the ones, they're okay. And this one is a little bit away from the trellis, so I'm going to do that same technique I did before. Like I attach I'm going to do it so you can see. Okay, so she's here, trellis is back here. I want to leave room for growth and so on. Go down a little more. So I'm going to come and then at this loop, hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to come in with another piece of my cut stocking pieces and make like a bow, sort of. Whatever you think is going to make you undo this faster, just in case you have to, right? And this is good. As flimsy as it looks, by the time she grows and, you know, overflows, this is gonna be hidden and she will have some support. And you're gonna have, as she goes up, because you can see she has quite a way to go, and these are indeterminate tomatoes, so they're going to grow as big. I'm going to allow them to grow as big as they want to be. If you have determinate tomatoes, then the height of the tomato has already been determined, so they're not going to grow very big. But I don't like to decide how big the plant wants to grow, so I usually get indeterminate. So yeah, so this is going to grow nice and big and go all the way up the trellis, right? So this is going to be one of many stocking support. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm wondering if I should give you a mini tour today. Let's see, we're up to 13 minutes right now. I should probably give you a mini tour. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. This one has already been attached, as you can see. This can wait a little bit more. And I have flowers here, some zinnias to attract bees and whatnot to help with the pollination process. Usually I plant basils in here, but I didn't do that this year. Instead, I have holy basils. They don't have much flavor, but it's one thing that I do believe for real is that when you plant your tomatoes with basil, the tomatoes get the flavor of the basil. But for some reason this year I didn't do that. I have the marigold in here to repel the bad guys. In this garden back here, I have collard greens, right? And I'm just looking real quick. I think I see some Poopy Loopy, which is the first I've seen all season. And I was just about to brag about it, but it's still good because this is the first I've seen all season. And this is Poopy Loopy. This is worm poop. And it tells me that someone is in here trying to set up shop. And to find that one, if you're doing organic farming, you'd have to get out here early in the mornings, because by the time the sun comes up, they are already gone. All right, so what that tells me is that I'm going to have to be out here early tomorrow morning and try to capture that bad guy. So this is my collard greens garden. I have one kale back here and one up here, dinosaur kale, which is my favorite. I have another dinosaur kale right there and another one here that I planted this year. I have the bed heavily mulched. Well, you know, mulched decently. Could have been mulched a little bit more, but I haven't gotten around to it. But the thing I wanted to mention is that by the time it starts to heat up like it has now, I would usually be suffering in this bed, right? My collard greens would be all chewed up with worms and whatnot, from worms and whatnot. But I saw on someone's post where they've been planting their green onions in here, and I did that this year, and I want to give credit to that because that's the only thing I did, right? I usually don't spray, and here's some more Poopy Loopy. So one or two, so they're starting to come in slowly, but thank God I have been enjoying excuse me, collard greens for as long as this, you know, for, let's see, it's been heating up for about a month now. There haven't been any holes in here. So with just these two guys that I see, I should be able to get a grip on them before they set up shop and start munching through my my food here. All right, so if you're gonna plant collard greens, you could probably try, or if you already have them, just get some scallions from the grocery store, whole scallions, cut the top off, use that, and stick the roots in the ground, and within days they'll start to grow. And I think that's what has been giving me the success. All right, so that's that for that bed. In this bed, I have some sugar snap peas that is just been very pleasing. And this is a baby one right here. I was going to take one off to chew. The crunch on these are just incredible. And I'm going to take one off so you can hear. Just incredible. You want to search to make sure there's no insects on there. And listen to the crunch. It's just out of this world. Gets me every time. So I have some sugar snap peas growing along here. This one is the only one that seems to be doing very well, and this one's not doing too bad. But this one, I'm not sure what happened to her. It could have been from overwatering, because a couple of weeks ago this whole bed was completely submerged in water with those beans in it. So probably it has root rot or something, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, I planted some more, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in. Sorry for munching on camera, but those are sugar snap peas, and yeah, sugar makes you do that. But as you can see, I have some bush beans here, which are string beans. They're starting to put out. I'm very happy about that. They seem to have survived the water, and it didn't do much damage. In a couple of days, actually even right now, I can start harvesting some string beans. Look at this one, right? I have the marigold here to repel the bad guys. Over in this bed here, I have some patty pan squashes brewing, and I have these posts set up so I can put a covering over to protect them once they get a little bigger and start producing fruit, because the squash bug usually gets to them. This year I'm going to try to self-pollinate them, and hopefully everything will work out okay. But they're tiny now, as you can see, and I started them on the inside, so I think that's why they're growing so slowly, right? But I'm going to start to look into where I can get the netting to make sure that they are nice and covered. And I'm going to try the self-pollination method this year, right? I also have some garlic, hope you can see, planted in here to help to repel the bad guys, and I have them in rows going down. You can't see them very well because they're very small. And back here I have some, I'm going to step in this bed here. This that I have here is leaves that I take from my cabbage and cauliflower, and I have them composing here, composting here to enrich the soil. But back here I have some rattlesnake beans, and these are some purple beans that grow pretty long, and I'm really looking forward to enjoying those this year. I've never grown them before. As you can see, they're starting to put out flower, and that signals that they're gonna start putting out beans soon. Back here I have about 4 baby okra plants, and in this bed I have some lima beans, baby lima beans. That's why I was kind of trying to postpone giving you guys a tour. I wanted to show you what the beans look like, you know, so we'd find out together. I've never grown them before. This is my first year growing them, but they seem to be pretty healthy. As soon as I put them in the ground, they just started doubling in size like every day. Then here I have some baby bell peppers that I just put in the ground. All right, where should we go next? So this bed now is, here I have some sweet jalapenos that they're not really sugary sweet, but the heat is absent, right? So you can use them in place of bell peppers. I've been using them, you know, in place of bell peppers until my bell peppers come in. This is a bell pepper plant that I need to give a stake to, because the wind came through and just blew her over, and she's putting on baby peppers, so she wants to grow, so I need to stake her quickly. And these are cabbages, cabbage, and I have some collard cabbage in here, and this one I'm allowing it to go to seed. Here I have some baby turnips that I just put in the ground yesterday, and I have a little rosemary plant that I just planted here to help to repel the bad guys from this cruciferous area. Here I have 2 cabbages that are coming in, and this one is almost ready. And to the side here, I hope I'm not making too much noise with the mic. If I am, I apologize. Back here, these are beets. I know I need to thin them, but what I do, I thin them every morning. I come out and I take a couple and I put them in either smoothie or scrambles or something. This is a basil plant that is just happy right here. And to make your basil plant go higher, what I do is I pick the leaves off from the bottom, and it tells it to go higher. And then to make it go wider, I keep picking off from the top and it goes wider. So that's what I've been doing. I've been just training it, and it came up a little, so now I want it to kind of, you know, widen a little bit. So I've been picking from the top. This cabbage collard I've allowed to go to seed because I really enjoyed these this year. This was my first time planting it, and so I want the seeds. So that's what's going on there. This bed is the cabbage bed, and they're all baby cabbages here. I just planted a little baby rosemary over here, and this is a eggplant, and it has one little eggplant here. It's a flower. It's gonna bloom, and then the fruit's gonna grow from it. And these are all cabbages. Now, growing cabbages in the heat is quite a challenge because they drink a lot of water, so I have to be on top of that. And here I just planted a little rosemary plant. I'm also gonna put in here some garlic and scallions to repel the worms and so on when it gets a little bit hotter. Over in this bed I have, you know, thyme, and this is my overgrown what do you call this one? Oh my gosh, I can't remember right now. I'm having a brain fart or brain fog. Cilantro, and I've allowed it to go to seed, but I still use from it. It's still tasty. I just keep using from the bottom leaves, right? And this is sage. Pull a dollar weed while I'm here. This is sage and holy basil, and you all know how I feel about my holy basil if you've been following me from Instagram. This is my holy grail for everything. I cook with it, I make tea with it, I chew the leaves. This is just awesome, an awesome herb. And so I have my Egyptian skipping onions here that are just producing, and the way they are set up is that one leaf will fall, and then over here, as you see, this has fallen, and then new scallions are going to be growing up from there. I have some calla lilies growing here, and the scallion decided to fall right beside it, and I'm not going to move it. I'm going to leave it right there. I have more sage here. Now, sage likes shade, so I planted a bell pepper back here so it will grow and give it some shade. I have some more thyme back here. This is a lemon, I think it's lemon, yeah, but it decided to grow there out of compost from the garden. So we're gonna take it out soon and put it in a pot and see if it wants to grow. This is another basil plant and another basil plant, and here is our skipping onions. And as you can see, we're probably gonna have to make this bed bigger because, as you can see, they're putting out a lot of the they're falling all over the place to make more scallions. Or maybe I just need to use more scallions when I'm cooking. And this is oregano. It has gotten, I wouldn't say out of control, because I like to see it, you know, and I use it to make insecticides for my callaloo. When my callaloo comes in, I take a bunch of this and a bunch of peppermint and rosemary, boil it down, and spray my callaloo with it. It doesn't kill the insects, but it certainly does slow them down so they don't set up shop too quick, right? Because the trick with callaloo, you have to harvest it quickly. And so it gives me time to harvest before the worms set up shop. I have my thyme here, some more sage. That's not doing too well. It needs some shade of some sort. Now over here is my bell pepper bed. I have baby bell peppers that I just planted maybe a week ago. And then you have I have some callaloos in here that are popping out of the ground. As soon as they get a little bigger, I'm gonna take them out. More bell peppers. And these are just regular orange, red, and yellow bell peppers. This is a Scotch bonnet tree, and it has on 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, about 6 mature peppers at this time. And I have some zinnias in here. These are beets that I thinned from that big beet garden over here, and they seem to be doing pretty good here, so I'm just going to leave them there. So now over here is, this was my lettuce bed, but we're all through with lettuce now. So the Swiss chards are here and they're still doing fine. I planted some turnips in here, some baby turnips, just yesterday, and they're doing all right. Have about 12 of them in here. Have this little lettuce here that she decided to come up late, so I should enjoy her. She was non-scheduled with the others, but she's here. So this is an acorn squash that grew out of compost here, so I just provided her a little bit of sharing room with the trellis for the cucumbers. These are cucumbers. I'm gonna give them a little bit of fish fertilizer so they can, it can stop all that yellowing that's going on. And here are some more baby turnips. This lettuce, because the red lettuce did so well this year, I was really impressed and happy with it. I decided to let this one go to seed so I can have those seeds for next year. And this bed here, this is also collard greens. I planted this bed of collard greens for the same reason that I usually have problems over here, with worms. So I usually plant a second bed just in case this one gets eaten. So I have this one. But thanks be to God, this one didn't get eaten. So I'm gonna work on those 2 worms that I see over there. And I'm gonna be cutting up collard greens and storing for those days that we can't grow them. This is another pepper plant that decided to grow there from compost. So I don't know what color she is. This is another one as well. These are mustard greens that have gone to seed. And these in the middle here, these are turnips. I think they're almost ready. And this is a basil that's growing in here. I'm training her to come up even higher. Let's see if I can show you one of the turnips, if I can see one, at least one. Okay, so I think you can see the turnip there. It's above ground now, so it's almost ready, right? And so I have about, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them in here. And lately we've been enjoying turnips and radishes. And so I'm going to be planting some radishes next year for sure. But in the meantime, we'll buy. These are yellowneck squashes that we've been enjoying. And I'm growing them vertically. So they're going to come up on this stake. And I attach them to the stake the same way I do with stocking strips. Same way I do with my tomatoes. And so I need to harvest these now. I have a bunch inside that I need to harvest now. So this one needs to be tied. As you can see, it was tied on the bottom there. Now I need to attach her here because they are coming up. Have some more of them right here. Now the zucchini starts here. And zucchinis, I do love. I'm planting them. I'm training them to grow vertically as well. So they're coming up. Training them to climb the trellis. And at first they were tiny, but now they are huge. Oops. They're huge. And they're not the regular long zucchinis. They are kind of rounded and cylinder-like. And here's another one back there. I just did a harvest on Sunday. Today's what, Tuesday? And those are ready. So I have holy basils growing in here, helping to repel insects. And I have this big bush of rosemary here, and I just planted some more baby turnips in here. What else? Let me show you what's going on over here. So this spot, wow, we're already at 32 minutes. This spot I have planted some purple potatoes, so when those start to come through, I'll show you. Over here we're trying to grow melons from bags. And yeah, this one also. These two were put in last, so they're not doing very well, but they'll come around. This one is just quite happy, right? And we have the hair along here on purpose from when the boys get their haircuts, because sometimes we have deers jump the fence and they come over and get the watermelons. So we were told a long time ago that the hair helps to repel them, you know, the smell from I guess human scent or whatever. So we're beginning to put the hair along here from the boys' haircut. Here we have some strawberries growing from pots, and they're doing, I think, pretty good. When we had them in the beds, little bugs would come up from the soil and eat them. So here we have them hanging this year, and these are the first sets. You know, they have the little butt-like shape. I'm not sure why that is so, but every now and then we'll get a regular sized one like this one. Let me see if I can show you. Like this one, it's a regular size. And this one as well. I mean, they don't stay on there very long, because when the children take breaks from school, this is the first place they come. And the blueberries as well. Now this one is the last one that I planted. She had a bunch of runners on there, and so I took them off and I planted them, and they have rooted and they're growing, so she should start doing well. I didn't know why this spot was suffering, but because the runners were on there, they were sucking her energy. So now she's looking much better. So I'm gonna find a sunny spot for her and put her there. What else can I show you? Okay, this is lemongrass or fever grass. I'm not sure which one it is. I know they're both related, but it's one or the other. And I cut it back every fall, and it dies in the winter, and now it's just coming back. But the tea is delicious. If you know, you know. Here I have some holy basils that I took out of the beds. Holy basils drop their seeds wherever they are at the end of the season. And well, actually, if you're not using them as much, they start to drop seed. And so all my beds, all of these beds have holy basils in them. But I choose to take out the bigger ones, put them in cell pots, and allow them to grow big. I give them away, or I plant them somewhere where I have easy access to them. But they don't like cold, so they die every winter. This little pot here is where I have my my sugar snap peas growing out of, because I don't know exactly what happened to those other ones, so I'm giving it a second try. And this is a flower bed that I planted. It's supposed to be all zinnias coming out of here and sunflowers back here, but it needs some weeding, needs some attention. This here is, yeah, I know, my mint garden that has just overgrown. It's just totally happy. It was all along here, and I cut it back halfway. When winter comes again, I think I'm going to cut this even smaller. I'm going to make it smaller. But like I said, I use this for insecticides to slow the worms down, you know. And from my callaloo, which I have planted right next here, these are all callaloo's. And what I do, I start reaping early, you know, the young leaves, and start spraying them. These are some other tomatoes that I have also trellised. These are the orange tomatoes that I was telling you about. This is our first year growing it, so we're pretty excited about that. But I did grow some Roma, because, you know, as Jamaicans, we love our Roma. And these are a few. Let me go from the other side so you can see it. See them better. Have to have some Roma tomatoes, right, to make the gravy. There we go. All right, guys, so that's about that for that. And this bell pepper plant, it just started to grow, so I just made her comfortable there. Over here I have 2 sweet potatoes that I'm growing. I'm hoping that it will be successful. Growing for slips so I can plant soon, because I think it takes 150 days for sweet potatoes to grow from slips. So I am trying and hoping and praying, trying everything I can to support it so it will grow some healthy slips. All right, so back here we have a couple of ears of corn. You can see them scattered. I had no idea that they would grow, right? If I had known, I would have planted more. I'm not sure if it's too late, but I'm gonna try to plant some more. But I wasn't sure if it would grow because all these big trees you see back here, their roots come all the way up here. And I thought that would have been a problem. So I just sowed them by chance, but they came. So I'm gonna go ahead and sow some more. And so the last thing I have to show you guys are the blueberries. Thank God the birds are not getting to them. I try to put enough food in the bird feeders to keep them busy, but they are starting to ripen, the blueberries, as I hope you can see. We take two off. Oh, there goes one. I guess that's the sign that she's ready. But yeah, the blueberries are doing well. Yeah, they're doing good. And as you can see, sometimes if you don't get them fast enough, they fall to the ground. Here's one. What I do, I just take them up and put them next to the bird feeder so the birds can have those instead of coming over here and eating the ones that I want to eat. And here we planted some squash, some pumpkins. You know, those pumpkins that we like to make soup. And more blueberries. So they're doing good. As you can see, my neighbor has blueberries too. And this one is trying to go over the fence to say hello. Right? So that's it for now, guys. We went over 41 minutes. I don't think this backyard introduction would have been as long if I didn't do the tomatoes. So guys, I guess we can officially call this a spring summer garden tour. I'll have to come back with another one to show you what the foods look like once they start to come in, you know, like the peppers, the tomatoes, potatoes, you know, and stuff like that, the other beans and so on. But in the meantime, I hope this video was informative and inspiring. And until the next video, God bless. Bye.